Wenger out, Emery out, Arteta out? Sounds familiar, right? If you've been anywhere near the Emirates in the last decade, you've probably heard these chants echoing from the stands. Remember when clinching a top 4 spot was celebrated like a trophy win? Oh, how the mighty had fallen. But here's the twist. Arteta, the guy many fans wanted out, he's flipping the script. And not just a little tweak here and there, we're talking about a full 180 degrees. But was this transformation enough to help the Gunners win the English Premier League title this season? To understand Arsenal's redemption and see whether they can win the league this campaign or not, we've got to hit rewind and see where the roller coaster began, so buckle up. Picture this, December 22nd, 2019. Mikel Arteta steps up to the helm of Arsenal, a team gasping for breath at the 11th spot in the league. Expectations not exactly sky high. The season's end saw them stuck in 8th position. But here's where the story takes a turn. Arsenal, under Arteta's guidance, pulled off a stunner, knocking out Titans Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-finals and then clinching the title against their London neighbours Chelsea. Riding that momentum, Arteta didn't stop. He bagged another trophy, this time outsmarting Liverpool to win the Community Shield. Sounds like a fairy tale beginning, doesn't it? 2 titles in less than a year at the helm, it's the stuff of managerial dreams. But as with all tales, there's a twist. You thought that was the actual start of Arsenal's revolution, didn't you? Well, the following season proved to be a tougher challenge. Arsenal found themselves at 8th again, took an unexpected FA Cup exit, and then, in a twist of irony, fell to Unai Emery's Villarreal in the Europa League semis. Football, you never know when it'll serve revenge. 2 seasons in, and the Arsenal faithful were chanting for Arteta's exit. Big club, big expectations, and even bigger impatience. Managers are often shown the door at the first sign of trouble, but here's where the plot thickens. Instead of bowing to the pressure, Arsenal's board doubled down on their man. Not just a pat on the back, but a full-blown promotion from first-team head coach to the manager. Suddenly, Arteta had the keys to the kingdom. Didn't like a player, off they go. And boy, did he wield that power. Iwobi, Mustafi, Guendouzi, all were shown the door. But the real jaw-dropper? The departures of big names like Ozil, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. In a world where reputation and price tags often shield players, Arsenal's board did the unthinkable. They backed Arteta over their star assets despite the consistent criticism from pundits and even from their own fans. This proved to be the first step in the right direction. Why? Bear with us, we're going to explain. Imagine a magician pulling rabbits out of a hat, but instead of rabbits, it's top-tier football talent. That's Arteta for you. Behind the scenes, while everyone was busy debating his tactics, Arteta quietly orchestrated a masterclass in squad building. Enter the new recruits, William Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, the midfield maestro Thomas Partey, and the creative genius Martin Odegaard. But wait, there's more. The spotlight was also turned on young prodigies like Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Gabriel Martinelli, as Mikel gave them more game time to develop and shine. These players, except for William Saliba, who was on loan from Marseille, played a massive role in helping Arsenal have a better 2021-2022 Premier League season. Despite the shaky start to their campaign, Arsenal picked up their form with Saka and Odegaard impressing the world, helping the team finish in 5th place. Believe it or not, this was the actual start of Arsenal's redemption. A decade ago, Arsenal players would have celebrated such a mediocre campaign, but not under Mikel. In fact, the club decided to bring an essential factor that youthful squad lacked: experience. This was when seasoned pros like Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko were signed, adding that sprinkle of expertise to the mix. Enter the 2022-2023 season and Arsenal were a completely different beast. But here's the real kicker. Arteta didn't only rely on incomings, he turned the existing players into gold. Once written off, players like Granit Xhaka and Eddie Nketiah were now delivering standout performances. It's like Arteta had the Midas touch and Arsenal was reaping the rewards. The Gunners locked horns with Guardiola's Manchester City, going toe-to-toe into the later stages of the campaign. If it wasn't for Saliba's injury, who would have known? Arsenal might have won the title. But wait, Arsenal didn't just transform because new players were brought in. After all, players need tactics and instructions to follow in order to edge their opponents. So let us delve deeper into Arteta's play style, and before you jump on the Arteta's just splashing cash bandwagon, let's rewind a bit to his first few years at the helm. Arteta's early Arsenal side blended a direct approach with some longer spells of possession. They constantly looked to get their wide players into the spaces behind the opposition's defense. With formations like 4-2-3-1 and 3-4-3, Arteta was clearly in the lab experimenting. He even tried turning Lacazette into a playmaker, but alas, the Frenchman struggled to play in crowded areas and failed when it came to creativity, causing Arsenal to lose possession in crucial moments. Arteta also deployed Xhaka as a deep-lying playmaker, but under pressure, the Swiss failed to deliver, leading to Arsenal's grip on games slipping away. The real culprit? A mismatch of player profiles. Arteta had a vision, but the pieces of the puzzle he inherited just didn't fit. So he had to play it safe, go defensive, and wait for the right moment to strike. This explains why some fans were sick and tired of the Spaniard's pragmatic approach. However, it's clear that he was forced to ditch his ideas to survive. Once Arteta got the players he truly wanted, Arsenal began to shed its cautious shell. The team transitioned from a purely defensive mindset to a dynamic blend of direct attacks and controlled possession. And when Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko joined the ranks, oh boy, that was a game changer. Having been mentored by the mastermind Pep Guardiola, they brought a touch of that Pep magic. Suddenly, Arteta had the tools and the talent to recreate some of that Manchester City brilliance right at the Emirates. The transformation was in full swing. During their 2022-2023 title challenge, Arteta switched to a 4-3-3. He relied on Zinchenko to dictate the game and progress the ball from deeper areas as an inverted fullback. Partey was the anchor and metronome, helping recover the ball and allowing Granit Xhaka to thrive in his new position as an advanced number 8. Odegaard, with his magic touch, became the creative genius Arsenal had been craving for. But the real show? It was up front. Whether it was Gabriel Jesus' flair or Eddie Nketiah's tenacity stepping up during injuries, the forward line was always buzzing. Add the sheer pace and skill of Martinelli and Saka on the wings and you have a recipe for football fireworks. Arsenal wasn't just playing, they were putting on a show, tearing teams apart from the first whistle to the last. What a transformation! Alright, let's spill some tea. Everyone knows Arteta's playbook has Pep's fingerprints all over it. Come on, the guy was Pep's right-hand man for years. But here's the twist. Arteta's Arsenal has its own flavor. Arteta is more tolerant of counterattacks and a more direct vertical method of attack when suitable. Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba have forged a solid defensive partnership that allows Arsenal to sit back when needed. The defensive pair is also unusually good at carrying the ball out of defense, which makes Arsenal deadly in transition. Remember when Arsenal fans were celebrating a top 4 finish? Oh, how times have changed. Last season, they were this close to the title, and the only hiccup? Saliba's untimely injury. Imagine being gutted about finishing second. That's the new Arsenal for you. And now to the answer you've all been waiting for. Can Arsenal get the edge over Manchester City and win the Premier League title? Absolutely! The Gunners are unbeaten in their first 9 league games and they've already faced United, Tottenham, City, and Chelsea. Sure, they still have a long road to go, and last year they choked after they suffered injuries in the last stages of the season. Tell you what, that won't happen again. Why? Because Arsenal now have a much better squad depth than last year, and here's why. Not only did they get direct competition from Ramsdale by buying David Raya, but they also got a wholly different profile of goalkeeper who can provide better solutions from building out from the back. They also got Kai Havertz from Chelsea. Yeah, you're probably not convinced by the German, are you? Well, believe it or not, he'll be a very useful player under Mikel. He can play a false 9, as a 10, or even as a number 8, which gives Arteta more solutions. We wanted to talk about Jurrien Timber, the 22-year-old defender that can play across all the back 4 and even the midfield, but unfortunately he suffered a season-ending injury. But wait for a minute, there's another player Arsenal got this summer. Of course you knew who he is, it's the $100 million man Declan Rice. Play as a 6 to stop transitional moments and help in the build-up phase? No problem. Act as an advanced number 8 to drive the ball high up the pitch and lead the midfield press? Of course. Declan Rice can do it all, and no wonder why Pep Guardiola wanted to bring him to the Etihad. If Arsenal go on and win the league, there's no doubt Declan Rice will be the man who took the Gunners for that extra step. With Saka and Martinelli in the wings, Jesus up front with Eddie Nketiah, Leandro Trossard, and even Fabio Vieira coming off the bench, Arsenal can now do what they struggled to do last year, which is push into the last couple of games. Alright, let's keep it real. Even if Arsenal doesn't clinch the title this season, can we just give a nod to Arteta's magic touch? From being the top 4 dreamers to legit title contenders, that's some glow up. It's all in the details. Arteta's tactical tweaks, his knack for spotting player potential, and the board's unwavering support. The Gunners are back, and they're not just here for a cameo, they're here for the main act. So what's your take? Will Arteta lead Arsenal to their first Premier League crown in 2 decades? Drop your predictions below. And hey, if you enjoyed the content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Until next time.